Let's talk today about emotional affairs. Often, when I'm talking to a client or even somebody in my personal life, it seems there is a myth that emotional affairs are not as bad as physical or sexual affairs. And I want to talk today about why that is not the case. Emotional affairs can be deeply damaging, often undermining the foundation of trust and intimacy in a relationship. Unlike sexual infidelity, emotional affairs involve forming a deep emotional connection with someone outside the primary relationship, which can lead to feelings of betrayal, jealousy, and insecurity in the partner. These emotional bonds, though non-sexual, divert attention and affection away from the committed relationship, creating emotional distance and eroding the bond between partners. We know that humans have a limited amount of energy every day. Stress at work, financial stress, parenting, caregiving, and the social unrest happening around the world can deplete our emotional energy. For many people, keeping secrets, living in contradiction, living deceitfully, can also deplete emotional energy. A meaningful emotional connection is essential for the foundation of any relationship, platonic or romantic. When boundaries blur, a friendship can evolve into an emotional affair. No one sign indicates that you're having an emotional affair. Instead, it's a collection of your feelings and behaviors towards this person and how they are impacting your current romantic relationship. So in other words, we're not looking for one particular indicator, we're looking for more of a pattern. Over time, emotional affairs can lead to the breakdown of communication, trust, and mutual respect in a relationship. They can also create a slippery slope towards sexual infidelity, which further complicates the situation and adds another layer. In many cases, the damage caused by an emotional affair can be as profound as a sexual one, requiring significant effort to stabilize the damage, to rebuild trust, and to restore the relationship to a healthy state. If you wonder if you are involved in an emotional affair, I want to talk about a few signs that you might recognize. Sign number one is frequent contact. Emotional affairs are usually characterized by a great deal of contact with each other. This includes spending time together in person. It also includes frequent contact when you're not together. Constant thoughts is the second sign. The person you're having an emotional affair with often becomes the focus of your attention, and they take up most of your attention. They take over your thoughts, and you might also find that you have a difficult time concentrating on things that don't involve this person, which usually means you're neglecting your partner, your kids, your work, and this also feels stressful and adds to your daily stress. Another sign that there might be an emotional affair is feeling understood. So often you believe this person really gets you in a way that even your partner doesn't. You might feel that you have a lot in common with them and that you have a lot of shared interests. Often what is being missed is that this person who gets you isn't partnering with you in real life. They aren't trying to parent with you. They're not paying the bills with you. They're not having to work through conflict with you. Nobody is perfect in relationships. And if the relationship lasts any amount of time, our partners will get to know our strengths. They'll also see and understand our insecurities, our triggers, and the areas where you might not be so strong. Now, this isn't a problem in healthy relationships, but if you prefer someone who stays enamored with you and doesn't see this other side of you, you may be prone to continual emotional affairs. And the last sign that I want to talk about is unfair comparisons. As you grow closer to this other person, you might find yourself beginning to judge others in comparison to this person. It also means that you tend to look for mistakes and you overemphasize your partner's flaws without giving them credit for their strengths. These unfair comparisons also mean you overlook negative traits in the person you are having an emotional affair with, and they overlook these traits in you. Now, if you're a partner and you're wondering if your partner might be having an emotional affair, what are some of the signs you might notice? You might notice that your partner spends a lot of time at work, or the time that they spend doing things without you increases. Your partner might be careful to hide their phone, and they're secretive about who they're communicating with, where they were, what they were doing when you weren't there. Another sign would be your partner constantly talking about this close friend or this colleague that they really seem to admire, and you start to pick up that they might have actually more of a special relationship or special connection than they're admitting to. You might find that your partner starts to criticize you. And you will also usually feel that your partner is withdrawing from you, and the information that they used to share about who they are and the events of their life, they're not sharing those anymore. And that could be because they're sharing that with another person. So what are some of the strategies that can help if you find that you're in an emotional affair or you find that your partner is in an emotional affair? The first strategy has to be around creating boundaries. There has to be boundaries that are established and maintained, and expectations for handling any contact with the affair partner going forward. If possible, I recommend ending the relationship and having no further contact. And I see this as being essential. I also would require transparency if contact is made, if there's feelings of wanting to reach out. If no contact isn't possible, for example, this might be somebody that you live by, this may be somebody that is in your friend group, this might be somebody that they work with. The blurred boundaries have to be addressed. And there has to be some communication that going forward, the boundaries will be tightened up. And that's just usually the start. The second strategy that I recommend is increasing communication with your partner. We have to reestablish this connection in the relationship with your partner. This means starting to talk to your partner about the details of your life, whether that's the events that happen in your day, or it's the emotions that you have about these events. Now, you may not feel initially like doing this, and you might feel some grief around losing this relationship. It is an unfair expectation for your partner to support you as you are grieving this loss. Working with a licensed professional specializing in these issues can help you move through the grief, can help you start to be accountable, and repair the damage to the relationship, as well as starting to understand the complexity of why you did this in the first place. The third strategy that I recommend is having empathy for the impact this has on the partner. Empathy is both a cognitive and an emotional understanding of another person's experience. In this case, empathy would require understanding how your choices negatively impacted your partner. And this can be hard to do when your affair partner made you feel so valued. And having empathy for your spouse is not going to make you feel good. Which leads me to my last strategy, which is seeking out professional help. Many of you listeners may know someone who has had an affair. You might know somebody who is currently having an affair. And often the belief is affairs happen. They aren't that uncommon. And while they may not be unusual, affairs are a complex issue. And if we don't gain an understanding of the complex issues at play in affairs, then we're prone to a pattern of continual affairs and not being able to develop meaningful intimacy in our primary relationship. Allowing betrayal, whether that is being betrayed or betraying, creates disconnection in our lives that separates us from ourselves, and it separates us from those who care about us and love us. The only way to prevent this is to examine what our core beliefs are about the challenges and difficulties that life has presented to us, and to find ways to spark our resilience, to make meaning of the difficulty and betrayal, and to make peace with the parts of ourselves we find unattractive. This allows us to start to live in alignment with who we are, and to learn to be comfortable with others seeing, knowing, and loving all the parts of us, which actually leads to real intimacy. If you find this video helpful, please hit like, share, subscribe, and just a reminder, it takes nothing to subscribe to this YouTube channel. Thank you.